go ahead and call our business meeting to order. It is 7:01. And up first, I need a motion to approve the agenda for the meeting tonight.
So moved.
Brian, Mary Caitlin, all in favor? Aye. And it's 6-0. I know Lisa was with us earlier. She stepped out for a minute to watch one of her children in a musical performance, which is great, and she'll be back. We do not have any public comments tonight, so we'll move on. And I'm gonna, yes, and we do have our student advisor with us tonight. So, hi, Carmody.
This is new than the other one. Okay. It's different. Hi, everyone. Obviously, I wanted to take a moment and update you on the exciting things that are happening at Fairport this past month. We're coming off of a high from sectional championships. Almost all of our teams won sectionals, and 2 of our teams are all state champions, our boys soccer team and our girls volleyball team, for the second time in a row. Our students are anticipating the upcoming Christmas break, and there's definitely a sense of excitement and holiday cheer throughout the building. The wellness staff added a festive touch by decorating their doors, and my favorite one is probably the one that says ditto, and that's the only one next to it. It's like all decked out. That's probably my favorite one. But it's brought a fun and engaging vibe to the week, being the week before Christmas break. Students and staff are voting on their favorite designs, which is enhancing the spirit of the season. We also had a special event with our winter concert, the first one of the year, and it featured our chorus group, our a cappella group, and our orchestra. It was a wonderful showcase of all of our talented students and definitely a highlight to start off the month. In athletics, we celebrated the induction of 12 new members into the Fairport Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm proud to say that I was a part of it and got to know some very wise people, so I had a lot of fun. These individuals have made lasting contributions to the legacy of Fairport athletics, and their achievements were celebrated in a special ceremony, and their little award was pretty neat. As we near the end of the second marking period, seniors, including myself, are anxiously awaiting our college admissions decisions, and our juniors are beginning to make important class course decisions and selections for the next year. We're excited for both groups as they navigate through the milestones. Finally, all winter sports teams have started their seasons with great success so far, and our boys basketball team is 3-0 right now. All of our students have been showing up to the games, which is nice to see for girls and boys, and there's a lot of determination from everyone to come and support and watch the growth and achievements so far. And at Northside, because my brother's at Northside, or not my brother, my sister's at Northside, and they've had a holiday spirit week at Northside and JP and Dudley to emphasize the Christmas break. And at Northside, they've been donating food, blankets, towels, etc. to Lollipop Farm to support the animals this winter. And at JP, they've been donating to the House of Mercy, which is a homeless shelter, and they've been giving gloves, hats, food, and things like that to cure the coldness during the winter months. That's my update. You're
I know.
so welcome. I asked my siblings because I don't know anything about Brooks Hill, but I was like, I'll get everybody else.
We're going to help you out with that. I'll do better with that. I
Perfect.
got to do my homework. So I appreciate you doing that on your own. That was impressive.
I have to ask, which kingdom was your sister a part of for the reading challenge? Do you know? This was the PTAs, being amazing as they are, the reading challenge for the last month at Northside, they split all the classes into 4 kingdoms. And the kids, every time they read 20 minutes, could write their name. And the PTA added it up. And Charming Kingdom won. We were a Northern Kingdom household. We're excited for Charming. But
I know. I don't think she was a part of Charming. I think because I know she would have come home and talked about it. She's brought home so many books. She's been so excited. So she's an avid reader.
It's the best.
That's what we want.
And kudos to the PTA because they did pizza party for the winning kingdom and then popcorn parties for all the kids because they earned so many minutes.
That's cute. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Carmody.
Have a great break.
Yeah. Actually, I'll talk a tiny bit about our visit, but I know I asked the same thing, what the different posters were for. I thought it was like orienteering for PE class, but no, much more fun with the reading for sure. Oh, yeah. So, just happy holidays. Since our last business board meeting, we've been pretty busy as a board. We had the opportunity to visit with Brooks Hill and Martha Brown, where there are actually two newer assistant principals, and it was wonderful to kind of see their leadership and how they're working so collaboratively with the principals there already and with the staff. So I think that was pretty exciting for the board to see. At Brooks Hill, we were able to tour the building. My highlight was the UPK classes, just because we don't get to see it in action all the time. So it was nice to see how it looked at Brooks Hill, and I know they're all wonderful. So we also had the opportunity to meet in small groups with students. So instead of like a formal presentation at Brooks Hill, we actually had some more kind of one-on-one time with students as board members, and they were able to share what they liked about Brooks Hill, their favorite foods. I heard lots of outside activity information, which was great, but really just essentially sharing what they're learning, what they love, and what they might like to see more of at Brooks Hill. So I liked it. It was a little different than having like a more formal presentation. So appreciative of that. We also got to go to Martha Brown. As board members, that's one of our duties, so I like to highlight it. We do have to visit each school or each building in our district to make sure that everything is in essentially working order, and we are blessed. We get to see what's happening behind the scenes and when teachers and other staff are teaching our students as well. So at Martha Brown, we did have guided tours, again, with students. So each of us had at least 3 students that brought us to different classrooms, and we got to see all different content being presented and sharing and presentations. So just being able to observe that was great, I think, for all of us. Let's see here. One other thing I did want to mention, Brian, Brett, and I were able to meet right after Thanksgiving with Representative Morelli. Brian and I are on the legislative committee, and I know Brett has been in the past, and we make an effort to try to reach out and speak with our representatives for our area. So we have met with Summer Brook in the past and Lunsford, and we just had an opportunity to meet with Representative Morelli. So what the contents of that conversation is really us talking about what Fairport looks like, what our teachers and staff and administrators, buildings need and advocate for, as usual, foundation aid, among other things. With Morelli, it was nice because we were able to talk a little bit more about federal assistance. We talked about IDEA, which is close to my heart, and a variety of other things. So we just want to make sure that we are heard. They know we're here, and we need their support and assistance. So it was a great opportunity for us. And then I did just want to mention that we also have been working hard, Brett and team, with our K-8 facilities planning. So if you joined us earlier, part of our workshop was talking about the steps that are being taken to develop the plans for a vote that will be coming up next October. And it's really going to be focusing on the K-8 buildings. 3 of us have had the opportunity to work or more observe staff, administrators, all different people from the K-8 buildings, expressing what they might need and how to move forward with those details. So check out the recording of the workshop. And I'm just going to stop there because I know Mr. Provenzano has other things to share that I have on here, so I will hand it off to you. But again, happy holidays. I hope everybody has a safe and nice 2 weeks off this year.
I actually enjoy listening to all the great things happening. It's exciting. Our buildings right now are popping with so much excitement and joy throughout every single one of our buildings. And the board, we've been able to go and visit some of our buildings and see it up close and personal. So thank you for being a part of that. And I know our staff appreciates you coming by and saying hello.
They love the Fairport team.
Absolutely.
I was going to mention and I think you have it. Yep, you have it right here.
Go for it. Please take it. I got
Nope.
pictures for you. Go for it.
I was just going to say, I was lucky enough to be able to be there for the first, which I didn't realize it was the first. For some reason, I thought we had always had it. Red Raider Athletic Hall of Fame event, and it was wonderful. I think I almost cried a couple times during the speech.
You know, if it,
So
if it fit perfectly in what the board expects, we celebrate individuals and people in our community spirit.
Yeah.
This was brought on by Dave Paddock, longtime principal here. It was his vision, and Lindsay and Lauren were amazing in supporting the event. You're right, it was a very emotional event. There were 12 inductees from many different eras, and the stories were rich. It was a long ceremony, but guess what? It wasn't long enough because you were hanging on every single word of what these inductees, their stories. So it was powerful. And it doesn't happen if this wasn't a priority for the Board of Education because we had to dedicate resources happily. And again, thank you to Lindsay and Lauren for bringing it to life in a way that you guys only do. So looking forward to others. I was sitting there saying, what about this person? What about that person? What about this person? So it was a great walk down memory lane and more to come. Last month we celebrated athletics. This month we're going to celebrate music in Fairport. This is our bright spot.
Repeat to the end, articulation, shortness, extremity. Here we go.
We have an amazing music program, and right now I think you said Lisa is right.
I
She left to go. In fact, if you were looking at our calendars this past week, every single night for actually the past 2 weeks was filled with music and ensembles, and it brings our community together. It's a soul of our community, and I'm just proud of our music program. And there's so many accomplishments. At some point we will get those lists of accomplishments, and they're worthy of celebration too. But right now we have 767 choir students, 430 students in orchestra, 843 in band total, right? And that speaks to the amount of commitment. Our program is unique. Our staff in grades 3 through 12 follow our musicians up through, so they develop relationships and they know where they started, they know their strengths, they know their growth opportunities as well, and it's showcased and comes out. I was actually sitting with my son, who's a music major. I won't go any further than that. Last night, and he was at the concert. He goes, "They sound better than us." Right, and I was like, yeah, I was going to say that, and you also saw all K-8 students participate in general music, and I think again that's another investment that makes us unique in Fairport because we go beyond, and that's a board priority because we know that the gifts that music brings. And 71 students, there was a musical, Matilda Jr. participated in that at JP, and the music season was amazing as well. So. Lots of exciting things going on in music. Thank you, Lindsay and Lauren, for showcasing that spotlight.
Brett, can I just say one quick thing about that? I'm so glad that you showcased music this month. It's so perfect week when, Minerva had to cancel school. And as excited as those ninth graders were to have a free
Microphone.
day.
Your microphone.
Oh, sorry. I'm so glad you highlighted music. Last Tuesday, as excited as those ninth graders were to have that free day, there was a group of ninth graders who were performing that night in a concert who were so nervous. And seriously, like hats off to Diana Chase, Don Monticelli, Pat McGrath, and I don't know, the choir teacher.
Tara Switzer.
Yes, Tara Switzer, who just sprang into action and were ready to make sure that show was going to go on regardless. So our music program is
So
just incredible.
I was getting, a flurry of texts
Yeah.
in the morning, and the music staff was wondering what's happening,
Yeah.
right? Are we still on for the night? I was like, let's just get through the first hour of
No,
this.
they were loading, they were ready to bring stands wherever they could. I mean, they were bringing instruments
Ready to
wherever
go.
they needed to do.
And our B&G grounds would be the ones to move them, and
Yes.
they
Yeah.
would be there to support. They're going to be in a recognition, I'm sure, soon too. So thank you. School improvement team met today, the homework band, and it was great to see our professionals come together and talk about homework, right? I've been in education for over 30 years, and we're still trying to, wrap our hands around homework, coming up with a consistent policy that's grounded in research. Kudos to our school improvement team, led by Dr. Tanya Wilson-Thevenason. I was going to have her speak on it, but she's got some personal things going on at home with some sick children. So, celebrating them and our staff, they're excited. They're doing it slowly, looking at the research, and hopefully by the end of the year, they'll make some policy recommendations to the board and policy committee and be able to employ a consistent, that's the key, consistent homework policy throughout. So kudos to that team. Another part of our work, in addition to the facilities planning, is the consolidation. And I'm going to continue to bring up the pillars, and we're talking about the school start time, even though it's in 26, 27. We're having additional conversations with our community partners about a potential partnership. So we're extending that out a little bit to give them more time. We continue to have the staff collaborate. I think there's going to be a combined staff meeting, or there was a combined staff meeting, where they can come together and continue to get to know each other, and lead teachers continue to meet. I think that lead teacher piece is critically important because that's going to be about program and curriculum. I know they're doing program reviews, so there's seamless things going, seamless transitions occurring. Personnel, we're doing a staffing analysis across all bargaining units, right? So it's just not, educators, that's every single bargaining unit, right? So we're engaging in that, and Lindsay's doing an analysis of the family communication survey. I know we talked about that last month, but that's an ongoing piece that's going to tie right nicely into our consolidation. Recently, as I think it was 2 days ago, we met with facilities, transportation, technology, and food services, all the directors, the leaders in those areas, and talked to them about their work plans related to the transition. So there's lots of pieces, as I know you've seen the objectives and activities associated with consolidation. So we're getting them on board. So it's moving along. Next year at this time, we'll be planning for it. So before that happens, a lot of pieces need to get in order. So that's what we have for the consolidation. And this is my last superintendent's report of 2024, right? I wish everybody a happy holiday season. Fairport Chino, you're going to Fairport. That's what it engendered.
That's
Yeah,
the
there you go.
logo for it?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Maybe that's it, right? But I wish everybody a great holiday season. 2 weeks off. It's going to be well-deserved for our staff and our students. I know they're looking forward to it. So it's a joy working with each one of you and what you give to our community. So thank you.
And Brett, can I just do a quick thank you?
Of course.
I don't want to. So the board and Brett had the opportunity to just bring a little holiday cheer to the buildings over the past few weeks. And for us, it's great. We get to go in and hand out cookies and hot cocoa and coffee, and it's lovely. But I just wanted to thank Sarah Driscoll for all the work that she's put into it behind the scenes. she doesn't get, sometimes she gets to see the happy faces when we deliver things, but not always. And I know that it's taken a lot of time, effort, and travel to get everything situated. So thank you, Sarah. Okay, so up next are our board member committee reports. And I will hand it over to everyone else.
All right, I'll start with a legislative update. Erica talked about our meeting with Congressman Morelli, which was a great conversation. Just, again, very appreciative. What's that? Okay. I'm very appreciative of the Congressman's support, not just of Fairport, but of public education in New York State. I mean, I think we know how lucky we are in this state, especially given a lot of the uncertainty happening at the national level. So very grateful for his advocacy and his support of public education and our state representatives as well. That's great to have. Two education laws that were signed past week, I just want to highlight really quickly. We talked about this at the workshop, but the hot schools law, that's a terrible name for the law, but it's the law that will close rooms if they are too hot. I know it's something that the State Teachers Union has was a fierce advocate for, very appreciative of their efforts. And so that's officially signed, and I know that's part of our work that we're doing with the buildings and grounds and with our capital improvement project. She also signed a law that was we advocated for through NISBA and Monroe County School Board, that aid for zero emission buses will be paid out over 8 years instead of 12 or 13 originally, which is an actual win with this mandate, which they've been few and far between for us. So it's nice to see that will be part of it. Monroe County School Board Association had a Zoom Advocacy Day earlier this month that Erica and I were on, and it was very short. That's about all I can say about it. It was very short. I think the big thing in legislative is the Rockefeller Foundation released its big study on foundation data. I think that came out after our last meeting. I don't remember exactly the time frame of it. It's the 300 plus page report that I know we've all read in depth and have a lot of notes on. But those are recommendations that have been given to the governor, and it just highlights the work that Foundation Aid is central to all of the advocacy efforts that we're doing locally through Monroe County School Board Association, through NISBA, and that's really the focus of our advocacy going into the new year. And by the time we meet, the governor's proposed budget will be out and the fun begins.
Way to end.
Thanks,
Real
Ryan.
quick, so the Audit and Finance Committee did meet last week, kind of taking some of that news and considerations and bringing it into the budget plan for Fairport. We looked at the reserve fund plan, which will be brought to the board later for acceptance. We did a little bit of long-range planning, looking at forecasts just to see what's in the pipeline. And we talked about the EV bus mandate. We talked about the proposition for 2025, 2026, and the EPA grant that is eligible to help fund that purchase. So good discussion, and I'm still learning, but enjoying my time in the committee.
The Wellness Committee met 2 weeks ago. We split up into two groups and kind of did a little bit of a deep dive into the Code of Conduct as we review that for this year, and we will be talking more about that in the next meeting too. So, yeah, more to come.
Audit and Finance, same. And then our Policy Committee met, and we are working our way through. We have a bunch of new first reads for the full board's consideration tonight.
Okay, it's been a busy month. And now we are at our treasure and investment update. So, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you and good evening. So tonight we have the update for the month of October 2024. The general fund, we had a beginning cash balance of $71.3 million, receipts during the month of $79 million, and disbursements of $11.7 million for an ending cash balance of $138.6 million. Of the $138.6, about $136.5 is invested in a mix of insured cash sweep, T-bills, money market accounts. About 98% of the overall cash that's in district. One piece you'll notice, we had a jump. It's the tax money rolling in during October. It's typically the highest month that we see for the tax funds coming from the town of Perryton. So now our cash far exceeded, right, the disbursement piece. As we move throughout the year, that'll start to change as we continue with payroll. Trending similar as it relates to revenues and expenses compared to prior year that we'd expect. About 99.8 million recognized revenue, most of that being the tax money, and then about 38.4 million in actual expenses year to date through October. So that's the report for the month of October of 24.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, so up next is our consent calendar, and I need a motion to approve the consent calendar. Jan?
Second.
Mary Caitlin, all in favor? Aye, 6-0. Which leads us to our board discussion and action items, and up first, field trip. So I need a motion to approve the attached field trip request. Brett? Nicole? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. 6-0. And as Mary Caitlin mentioned, we have been busy with our policies. So I need a motion that the Board of Education approves the first readings of the following policies: 3410, 6110, 7219, 7220, 7230, 7250, 7340, 7410, 7522, 7660, and 8460. Mary Caitlin, Brian, any comments?
Just a quick overview. No huge changes in a lot of these, continuing to just update because our policies have been a little out of date, but some that the policy committee are going to bring back up instead of on a 5-year cycle, we're going to bring them up next year, is 7219, 7220, and 7230, because as you know, the Blue Ribbon Commission released their information, and graduation requirements and pathways are shifting in New York State, so we don't want to fall behind on anything. So we did the precursory BOCES updates for these, the suggested language that they suggested, and we're going to circle back to them again next year just to make sure we stay on top of it.
Let's hope they move sort of quickly with that.
Sorry.
All in favor? Aye, 6-0. And next we have our second read. So I need a motion that the Board of Education approves the following policies as listed in the agenda.
So moved.
Brian, Mary Caitlin, any discussion? We've seen these before, so all in favor? Aye, 6-0. Okay.
I second.
Oh, sorry. So up next is a book approval. So I need a motion that the board approve the following book recommendations. Jan? Nicole? Discussion around this? Thank you. I know that we had asked for some more details with these books, so thank you to staff that provided us with the information. All in favor? Aye. 6-0. Okay. Up next, I need a motion to approve the Fairport Central School District Reserve Fund Plan for 2025 as attached.
So moved.
Rich? Brian? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. 6-0. It's weird saying 2025. Oh, did you want to talk, Matt? Okay. Motion to approve the following budgetary transfers to reclassify expenditures to from budget codes as attached.
Second.
Mary Caitlin, Brian, any discussion?
So I can just
Yep.
give you just a brief background. This is related to the pre-ref services for the K-8 facilities planning project for both Labella and campus. Those agreements were approved at the November board meeting, and now we analyze the budget, look at the different pieces as to where transfers can take place, analyze. You can see funds going from the Special Ed BOCES line to facilities. Based on where we are year to date for budget, we feel comfortable with that transfer in terms of placements we've seen so far this year. And then ultimately, with an approved project, if a project is approved at a later date, these expenses get moved to the capital fund at a future date. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. All in favor? Aye, 6-0. Which brings us to personnel. And I need a motion to approve the following instructional staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Rich? Nicole? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. Okay, up next is non-instructional and civil service. I need a motion to approve the following non-instructional and civil service staff actions is recommended by the superintendent of schools. Brian? Mary Caitlin? Any discussion here?
So there's 6
Yep.
retirements recommended. Christina Abbott, Health Office at Brooks Hill, Kim Burley, Teacher Aide at Martha Brown, Lisa Kaspark, Teacher Aide at JA, Mary Reynolds, Teacher Aide at Jefferson Avenue, Peg Ryder, Special Programs Secretary at Fairport High School, and Melissa Williams, Teacher Assistant at Martha Brown. Our TAs and our support and secretarial staff do amazing things in our buildings. They're probably the linchpin of many of our buildings and culture carriers. So we honor and look forward to celebrating these individuals over the next several months.
Absolutely.
Thank you for giving me that.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor? Aye. And now it's 7-0. Okay, next up, I need a motion to approve the following athletic staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Mary Caitlin?
Second.
Rich?
No one for the first and then everybody for the second.
Any discussion here? I don't think so. Okay, all in favor? Aye. 7-0. Next up, I need a motion to approve the attached memorandums of agreement as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Rich, second is Lisa. Any discussion? No. All in favor? Aye. 7-0. Okay, and next up, I need a motion to approve the updated salaries of the personnel not covered by a collective bargaining agreement. Brian?
Second.
Nicole? All in favor? Aye. 7-0. And wow, I need a motion to enter into executive session for matters pertaining to the employment history and performance of an individual in a collective bargaining unit. Superintendent Brett Provenzano and Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources Doug Loff are invited to attend.
So moved.
Mary Caitlin?
Second.
Brian, all in favor? Aye, 7-0. If you're eagerly watching from home, we will enter into exec and then we'll just reconvene to then adjourn the meeting. So happy holidays. If you are working and not off for the next 2 weeks, try to take some time as well.
Babysit my kids.
Yes, thank you.